Woodworking for me has always been something that I needed to do. My father originally was a fine arts printer, and he retrained at the age of 50, went to Collingwood TAFE and did cabinet making. So I spent a lot of time as a teenager at the end of his bench, just watching and absorbing, knowing that making was important. So woodwork for me is just not something I've ever questioned, it's just something that I have to do. There has been lots of comments made about the fact that this is not a obvious female role to take. It was quite tricky and quite difficult a lot of times, and I had to deal with a lot of prejudice. But I don't see any barriers. And I believe that my planning and project management was probably the key to my success as a builder and carpenter. Same skills come across into furniture making. You need to be a great problem solver. You need to have empathy with the people that you're working with. You need to listen to your client and develop a design. None of these barriers, there's no barriers there that are about male or female. Teaching's always been incredibly important to me. I've had a great mentor in my father and other mentors in my life as a maker. And that, to me, that you can go a certain distance yourself and then you need help. And how you receive that help is how you develop as a maker. I believe that as a teacher, my greatest skill is the fact that I love people. I love watching people engage with, which for me is a spiritual engagement, with a soul connection with this magical product that we work with, the timber. Making with wood is a deep connection. You have to adapt to it. You can't enforce your will on it. It will provide you with all sorts of challenges and failures, and I think that's great. I think in a lot of ways in our lives now we kind of avoid the whole idea of failure. But sometimes things break and fail, and it's how you actually step through that, and the fact that it's not easy is fabulous. I love the fact that my craft is not easy. I'd love to make a chair in a weekend, but in reality it's probably going to take me 6 weeks, it may take me 3 months. I'm the kind of teacher that wants people to access this beautiful craft that is my life. Any time somebody gives themselves permission to engage in craft, they are allowing themselves to be vulnerable. They may be concerned, and many of my students are very concerned. I am still concerned when I make a piece. How will this be received? So you have to take risks, so you learn courage. You certainly learn patience, because you can go right the way through a project and just stuff something up so badly that you've got to go right back to the beginning and make a new component. Frustrating, but it's the thing of it being beyond your control. You learn to embrace the challenges, not just the successes, but also the failures. Timber has a soul. Timber has a soul, and all we have to do is to embrace it. I'm very much a fan of George Nakashima's book, The Soul of the Tree. For me, that is one of the fundamental texts. I believe in having faults in inverted commas, because they aren't. They're knots or cracks. I believe in working with them. I believe in using my hands as closely as I possibly can to the timber, because that's when I feel most connected. If a piece does not have hand working in it, then it really is just a machining or production exercise for me, and it's lacking in love. I believe that in our 50s and 60s we are all developing spiritually, and the need to find things that enlarge ourselves is often in the process of craft. That's why people take up writing courses and singing and painting, and I don't have this woodwork as being the answer. Just for some it is the answer. The other thing that's really lovely about this craft is that we're making things that are functional. I can make something for my daughter. I can see it in her house. I can get her enjoyment. She can hand it on to somebody else in the future. That's pretty cool. Woodworking for me is a spiritual experience. Absolutely. When I'm not making, I'm not happy. I'm not mentally healthy. I'm frustrated, stressed, all of those. And when I spend time at my bench with an amazing piece of timber and a glorious tool, I'm connected and I'm believe it or not, quiet. I know it's unusual, but because God, I can talk. I'm calm and I'm engaged. Is that a spiritual experience? Yes, I believe that is. It's being in tune. Yeah. This work is not about the product. The product is practically unimportant. And I think that is also, we come back to that spiritual word, and I never shy away from it, because it, for me, is about my own mental health. It's about being connected, being, centered, being calm, being quiet. And I find myself losing hours working a piece of timber by hand. As close as I can get with these hands to the timber. On this property we have beautiful blackwood trees. It has been a lifelong dream, both of mine and my father's, to actually make furniture from the timber that we harvest here. We have not yet dropped one tree. We have storm-fallen stock of advanced trees that we work on each year. I'm saying that craft is incredibly important to us as human beings, to elevate us. I encourage people to take a risk, dive in, have a go, put your toe in the water, get still inside, let the work process, let the timber speak to you, let the whole process kind of wash over you. I find it interesting that a lot of my students will work off the plan to start off with, and I'll say, yeah, that's okay, but let's put the plan away and let's just actually see what these particular boards of timber, this particular project, how you might make it your own rather than making a copy of somebody else's. Take a risk.
All right, and we are good.
Because I never get cold, but I'm cold. I love that the blow flies back.
That's all right. Should be fine.
I think this is funny. Here's Fred again.